The Story Dragon podcast presents a whitewater rafting adventure. Martin had been waiting months, and the day had finally arrived. His first ever whitewater rafting trip was here. His older cousin Jake, who had already been rafting before, sat beside him smirking. "Hope you're ready, little dude," Jake teased. "You might just get shot right out of the boat." He mimicked a person flying through the air. Martin gulped. "That won't happen, right?" Jake just shrugged with a grin. Martin's dad ruffled his hair. "Don't worry, pal. We've got life vests, and we'll stick together. It's gonna be awesome." He looked out the window as they caught sight of the river, and he gulped. He could see the churning whitewater and hear the roar of the mighty waves. Everyone on the bus ran to the window, chattering excitedly, but still, his stomach felt like a fluttering butterfly exhibit. He was nervous. When they arrived, Martin hopped out of the bus and immediately noticed how fresh the air was here. It had been a long ride, and they were way out in the wilderness. The tall trees stretched endlessly and were a healthy green. This part of the river was much calmer, and the water was clear. It was a beautiful day. A tall man with a bushy beard and sunglasses greeted them. "Hey everyone, I'm Max, your guide for today. Who's ready to hit the river?" Everyone cheered except Martin, who cautiously raised his hand. Max, are there crocodiles here?" The group erupted in laughter. Even Max chuckled. "Not in this river, little buddy. Just some fish and maybe a few lazy turtles. But don't worry, no snapping jaws today." Martin felt his face turn red, but he laughed along with everyone else. Maybe he really was overthinking things. After gearing up in wetsuits, helmets, and life vests, they grabbed paddles and climbed into the raft. Martin squeezed in between his dad and Jake. Max stood at the back, holding his paddle like a captain steering a ship. "All right, team, listen to my calls. And as we navigate this river like pros, first up, some easy rapids to warm us up. Everybody grab the paddle forward." The water started calm, but soon the white-capped waves appeared. The raft bounced over the waves, spraying cool water into Martin's face. He shrieked, but then he laughed. It was the best roller coaster ride ever. "Lean into the waves," Max called. Martin gripped his paddle, and he did his best. But Jake made it look easy. "See, told you it would be fun," Jake shouted. Martin grinned. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad. They paddled through winding turns and exciting dips, dodging jagged rocks Max expertly pointed out. Then, as they hit a bigger rapid, a sudden wave knocked the raft sideways. "Left back, right forward," Max shouted, trying to straighten them out. Before Martin could even react, his dad got shot right out of the boat. "Dad!" Martin yelled. "Man overboard!" Max called, acting quickly. Martin's dad bobbed in the water, arms flailing as the current pulled him away from the raft. Max grabbed a life preserver, tossed it expertly, and Martin's dad grabbed on. "Paddle over right," Max commanded, steering them toward Martin's dad. He had explained earlier that meant everyone on the right side would need a paddle forward, and the left side would paddle backward. It angled them toward his dad without flipping the raft. As they neared him, Max leaned over. "Okay, I'm going to turn you around and pull you into the boat by the straps on your life vest. Hang on." Max grabbed the straps of the life vest and heaved his dad into the boat. But as he pulled, Martin's dad's rubbery wetsuit got jammed between the boat's seats, and he flopped down between them. Guys, I'm kind of stuck," he said. Jake burst out laughing. Martin couldn't help but giggle, too. His dad's was wedged between the seats, legs sticking up in the air. "We'll get you out," Max said, still grinning. "But first, we got some more rapids ahead." They had no choice but to keep paddling, while Martin's dad remained hilariously stuck. Every time the raft hit another bump, his legs wobbled like a flailing bug. "This is the weirdest ride ever," Jake howled. "Over left," Max called. "Right back." Martin laughed so hard he could barely paddle. Finally, after passing the last set of rapids, Max gave the command. Okay, everybody stop paddling. Let's get him out." They all helped yank Martin's dad free. He flopped onto the seat, dripping wet and laughing. "That was not my most graceful moment. Best moment of the trip, if you ask me," Jake joked. After the rapids, the river widened into a calm, slow-moving stretch. The sun beat down, making the wetsuits hot and sticky. "Paddle, guys, we're almost there," Max encouraged. Martin's arms ached. His shoulders burned. "I think my arms are going to fall off," he groaned. "Nah, you're just getting stronger," Max said. "This is where the real rafters prove themselves." Martin gritted through his teeth and kept going. Finally, they reached the shore, dragging the raft up onto the rocks. Achy, but smiling and happy about the adventure they had had, they made their way into the great big cabin to relax. While they enjoyed a nice lunch and some great cold beverages, Max got up in the front of the room and he had a recording of the entire experience. He put it up on the projector and they were able to watch their entire journey, or at least the good parts anyway. They had been recorded by a kayaker who had followed them in the raft. They hadn't really noticed him very much because they were having such a great time. While they were watching their antics in the raft and laughing, they finally got to the part where Martin's dad flew out. Max replayed it in slow motion. "There goes Dad, and splash," Jake narrated. "And now the great raft wedgie of this year." Everyone roared with laughter as they watched Martin's dad get wedged all over again. Martin wiped the tears from his eyes. "Best trip ever," he said. His dad sighed dramatically. "Glad I could provide some entertainment." Jake nudged Martin. "You did awesome today, little dude. No flying out of the boat for you." Martin grinned. "Nope, maybe next time you'll be the one getting stuck." Jake pretended to be offended, but they both knew there was definitely going to be a next time. Later that evening, as they sat around a campfire roasting marshmallows, Martin couldn't help stop thinking about the trip. "Hey, Max, what makes the rapids happen like that?" Max smiled, taking a stick and drawing in the dirt. "Good question, Martin. Rapids form when water flows over rocks or drops in elevation. The steeper the riverbed is, the faster and the rougher the water gets. That's why we had to paddle so hard. It helps us to steer through the currents." Martin nodded, poking his marshmallow into the fire. "So, if the river were totally flat, there wouldn't be any rapids at all?" "Exactly, but that wouldn't be as fun now, would it?" Max grinned. Jake laughed. "Yeah, we need some action. Maybe next time we should do even bigger rapids." Martin's dad groaned. "Just make sure I stay in the boat first." They all laughed and watched the fire crackle, the sound of the river still rushing nearby. Martin knew this was a day he'd never forget, and next time he'd be even braver.